Hi, this is Tim at Lange Sohne, Watches and Wonders 2019, and we are looking at the big piece. The Zeitwerk date for the 10th anniversary of the original Zeitwerk, Lange Sohne has comprehensively redesigned the dial, case, and the movement. Let's start on the dial side. Now, the watch includes a new date that runs circumferentially around the periphery of the center dial. The time bridge is unchanged. It's still a nickel silver base with a rhodium plate, and you can see there's actually a pivot jewel as ever on the minutes side of the dial. Now 72-hour power reserve rather than the original's 36. That's due to twin stacked mainspring barrels, which you can see presently, as well as a new linear time bridge system to act as a remontoir transfer to the escapement itself. The timepiece features a lighter balance and a lighter remontoir spring. As a result, it uses less energy from the now doubled barrels, as well as results in a lower amplitude drop between impulses of the remontoir constant force device. Now, the timepiece still features the finish for which the Lange brand and the Zeitwerk in particular are known. The movement now 516 parts, no longer 388, and the watch no longer a 41.9 but a 44.2. It actually looks considerably more elegant on the wrist because it's been pared down from 12.6 to 12.3 millimeters thick, with the result that the aspect ratio changes rather dramatically. A few functional changes have been included. You have the ability to toggle the date using a pusher adjuster, but you also have the ability to toggle the hour using a pusher adjuster. Previously, the watch would require you to roll through 60-minute changes per hour, so this is both a handier and a more capable Zeitwerk. Now, this right here is, of course, the caliber L0438, the 8th iteration of the jumping hours constant force movement that first bowed at SIHH in 2009. It is a larger movement, broader across the case back, not simply a more capable movement from a functional standpoint. And you can see the original dog leg in the time bridge constant force system has been entirely removed. It is now completely linear, as ever black polished. The finish is the standard you expect, mirrored anglage. You have glashütte stripes, double spiral atop the barrel on the ratchet wheel, freehand engraved balance cock half bridge, as well as escape wheel half bridge, and black polished details, plus heat blued screws, engine turned perlage, as good as it gets, guys. This is the big piece from Lange for 2019. This is the Zeitwerk date. And we are back at Lange Sohne, Watches and Wonders 2019. We're looking at a variation on a well-known watch within the Lange collection. It is the Richard Lange Jumping Second. Now, we first saw this watch as a platinum limited edition of 100. 2017, it became a rose gold watch. Now we're looking at it in white gold, 39.9 millimeters. The timepiece is just under 11 millimeters thick. A few interesting features. You have a Seifert scale. It is not a Venn diagram, it is a Seifert scale with a small power reserve 10-hour warning between the interspersed scales. So you see that red triangle when there are 10 hours of the 42 hours of power reserve remaining. The watch does feature jumping seconds as well as a zero reset. The timepiece also blessed with a constant force device similar to what you would see on the Zeitwerk, a remontoir. I have been politely asked by my generous hosts not to show the backside of this development watch, which is not quite ready for market, but rest assured, when it arrives, it will be as sharp as anything hailing from the folks in Saxony. This is the new white gold Richard Lange Jumping Second, now with black galvanized dial at post SIHH at Watches and Wonders. This is Tim back at Watches and Wonders 2019. We are looking at the Lange Sohne Langematik Perpetual Honey Gold. You can see the characteristic pale yellow of Lange Honey Gold, which is both distinctive in its tone and slightly harder than conventional gold, so it has a functional advantage. As ever, the Saxonia caliber beating away on the case back, driving a perpetual calendar. This is a model that, at its core, debuted back in 2001. The Langematik Perpetual has been with us for a while, but it was essentially born perfect. Think Dracula from Blade 3. 38.5 millimeters in honey gold. It's a universally wearable watch. The dial side featuring a beautiful radial splayed pattern across the hour tracks. As you can see, a cut into the hour track itself, giving it a wonderful outburst of energy, direction, and light. And then at center, a perfectly balanced dial with cruciform symmetry. You can see mono counters at 3 and 9 to serve the multiple functions. Lange uses sterling silver for its dial bases and solid gold for its moon phase discs, so you're not just getting honey gold with the watch. Of course, the Saxonia automatic winding with a 3/4 style rotor. Here's one of my favorite features of this particular movement. It's the fact that the rotor itself is solid hallmarked gold, and then the mass at the edge of the rotor is itself precious metal, this time platinum, joined together with blued screws. You can see the freehand engraved half bridge for the balance glasuta stripes. Appreciate the fact that this is all German silver or nickel copper zinc with its unplated golden hue. It's warm like honey, and well, that goes for the watch itself. A timepiece with a different aesthetic but universal appeal. This is the Langematik Perpetual, 100 pieces in honey gold for 2019. And this is Tim back at Lange Sohne. For 2019, we pay tribute to 25 years of the brand's watches, and this is the Lange 1 25-year anniversary white gold 250-piece limited edition. You can see the image of the manufacturer on the case back, as well as the names of company fathers Günter Blumlein, a veteran German watch executive who oversaw brands including IWC, Jaeger-LeCoultre, and of course the relaunch of Lange, and then the name of the late Walter Lange, company father and the last scion of the watchmaking Lange family of the 19th century. You could see the case back in white gold like the watch, hinged to reveal the modern caliber L121, a full-size modern Lange 1 caliber, and note that the freehand engraving on the half bridge includes both a flourish of the signature blue color and the notation that this is a 25-year anniversary piece. Of course, 1994 Dresden Castle, the first 4 Lange models of the modern era were unveiled, and this watch harks back to that exciting era when the first few hundred pieces were coming off the line. The dial is a striking combination of various silvers, matte, sunburst, as you can see color in the form of transferred blue lacquered indices and numerals, blue lacquered numerals on the grand date or the panorama datum, and a small flourish of red. It's a colorful, cheerful, and upbeat 38.5mm white gold case, stylish and memorable. 25 years of Lange, 250 pieces for 2019. Lightning strikes twice today. I had a datograph in yellow gold, and now I have a Lange 1A, a series of about 100 pieces made from 98 to 99. This is an extraordinary guilloche dial that is distinct from Lange's usual practice in that it's not so much fine, it is that, but it's also fabulous, exuberant, extravagant. Proof that the German manufacturer can crack a smile. A sensational combination of rose lathe guilloche and differential metal finish. You can see the combination of the satin finished golden hue with the guilloche, a remarkably striking contrast, and proof that you don't have to be monotonous just because you have one color. Sometimes it's in the tone and the texture. Now, turning it all over, you can see that which we traditionally love about Lange watches, but for once, I'm going to say all of the action is on the dial side. Historically, 1A has been a designation for extravagant craft-style Lange watches, and this one no exception. A true grail and extraordinary in its use of multiple golds, contrast of tone and texture, tenor and content. This is the Lange 1A. This was the one that got away at SIHH 2018, folks, but here we are at Watches and Wonders, a Lange Sohne, the Saxonia thin copper gold with extraordinary aventurine dial. You can see the depth and luster of the cosmos. Twinkle, twinkle, little star times 1,000. A timepiece that's wonderfully spare and grander for it. You can see the applique indices, a surprising touch on a dial of solid aventurine. At center, polished white gold alpha-style hands, the case itself in white gold and ultra-thin. Do you want the consummate dress watch as slim as a Royal Oak 15202 on your wrist? Well, you want the Saxonia thin. Now, the movement is grand, beautiful, handsome, accomplished, but all of the romance, I think all of the appeal of this watch is on the dial side. I didn't expect the Chronomet Bleu Killer to come out of Saxony, but that's exactly what Lange produced last year. This watch outshining the triple split at SIHH, the Saxonia thin copper gold. And we're back with a Lange Sohne. They've kindly allowed me to show you the golden Richard Lange jumping second. I showed you the white gold. This is the rose gold, and of course the white gold was a demonstration piece, not a runner. This is a full-fledged watch, 39.9 millimeters, just over 10 millimeters thick. It features a number of refinements, starting with the overlapping Seifert scale display of time. First and foremost, the watch is a regulator. You'll also note that it is a jumping second. There's an aperture between the hour and minute scales that will turn red when the 42-hour power reserve is down to 10 hours remaining. The watch features a number of stealthy refinements, starting with the zero reset seconds. It does feature that power reserve warning indicator, and then when you turn it all over, you can see it also features a remontoir d'égalité, or a circular spring that acts as a metering vessel between the escapement and the mainspring barrel. So you have a circular spring as opposed to the linear spring used by F. Journe. There's a double third wheel, and then the spring is between them, transferring a certain amount of quantized power from the train to the escapement, so the amount of energy, or I should say torque and energy, reaching the escapement is always the same. You can see the watch does feature a remarkable diamond capstone atop the escape wheel, black polished cover, black polished swan's neck. You can see freehand engraved half bridge, a three-quarter style bridge in the fashion of German pocket watches of yore, as well as perfectly aligned glasuta stripes across the individual bridges. You have both blued screws and black polished, and take note, black polished case clamp screws. How often do you see that? A beautiful watch. It's a bit cerebral, but the Richard Lange series has always been focused more explicitly on engineering, technology, and technical innovations than the other Lange series watches. So this is the Richard Lange Jumping Second watch, originally released in 2016. This rose gold model bowed in 2017, and for 2019 we have a new black dial white gold model.